welcome back to Box Office Brawl. I'm here, I am Kat, and I totally fucked up my own intro, and that's Pappy.
You are here, and you are Kat. Congratulations.
Yes.
2 for 2.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be Kat.
Right, we're finally talking about something that you really, really do like.
Yeah.
And that's the Slenderman mythos. And you finally got me to watch a movie from Marble Hornets, which is a show that you've been peer pressuring me to watch on YouTube, and I still haven't got around to it because I'm a lazy bastard.
And I even gave you the whole playlist, too.
Right? Yeah. Man, like, the mouse is here, and I can't. No,
Clicking
it's
is
too
hard.
Right? Yeah, I have 5 clicks a day. I can't abuse them.
So I just abused your retinas. How do you feel about that?
I didn't not like them.
This is a great way to start out. We should probably introduce what movies we're talking about. So I had Pappy watch Always Watching, a Marble Hornets story, which, funnily enough, not actually produced by Marble Hornets, just inspired by them.
Oh, okay.
Side note for you there.
No.
And Slender, which is a movie that came out last year, late last year.
Month. Yeah.
Was it last month?
No, it was 2015, but it's a very recent film. And that's where I had a hard time with the movies, but I'll get into that. They're both based on Slenderman, because for Box Office Brawl, we want that similarity. So we can say, hey, here's two similar themes. We'd recommend this one over that one. They're both Slenderman movies. You know, they're the first internet story that kind of became its own urban legend. You know, for good and for bad, it's got its own video games. It's got some pretty good story backgrounds. People dedicate writing fiction to the Slenderman mythos. The bads, you know, the real life sacrificing to Slender Man kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
That's why you shouldn't let teenagers just anywhere near anything, really. Just kind of keep them fucking locked up in the basement, I guess. Might be safer that way. But yeah, they're both Slenderman movies. And I know Kat was very excited to get me to watch Always Watching. She really enjoyed that movie. And so we'll start off with the similarities on the two. They're both done in the found footage style. One of them is a lot more professional.
And it's not the one you might think.
Well, with Always Watching, because the guy was a professional cameraman. I appreciated that, yes, everything is found footage, it's all hand film and all that, but it's all fucking professional cameras.
Yeah.
Once in a while you get some hand cam, but for the most part, that dude's using, like, legit, he's a newsman.
Yeah.
So he's got those legit shoulder-mounted and tripod-mounted fucking cameras, and it's nice. So even though we're getting that real people with real problems kind of thing going on in the writing, at least the screen looked pretty. And then we had Slender, which was a documentary style, like, hey, I want to make a documentary, and I found this lady who claims that this creepy guy stole her kids 5 years ago. But then we had footage shot on
cell phone, yeah,
little hidden cameras, poorly held cameras. I'm pretty sure at some point it was just like a fucking guy put a camera under my shirt and ran around in circles. I don't really know what happened there. But yeah, it was a herky-jerky. And the cool thing they did, like when it was a cell phone camera, was they shrank it on the screen. And then behind the screen was it blown up, happening at the same time but blurred.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's kind of a cool idea, but it's actually distracting as shit.
Well, and sometimes the stuff behind it wasn't even the blown up what you were seeing. It was overlaid on another camera, like showing a different angle. Yeah, it was weird.
So, plots, all right? Like I mentioned with Slender, it's, we want to make a documentary about this girl, and then we start digging into the Slenderman mythos because at first we want to do a missing persons mystery documentary, then we want to kind of uncover this, then we want to do one about fear. Yeah. And they kind of posit that he can't hurt you until you believe in him. And then Always Watching, I'll let you go on that plot synopsis because you've seen it more than once, so you can definitely give it a better
yeah, I watched it at some point. God, I want to say maybe even year before last. Like, I feel like I saw it fairly soon after it came out, and I want to say it came out in 2014.
Because you mentioned this one to me before.
Yeah. And so, for the purposes of this box office brawl, I watched it as a refresher because, moral of the story, it had been a while
Yeah.
since I had seen it. Um, the premise with that is you are following a news crew. Like, you're following a camera guy who works for the local news and works with, a field reporter. Like, that's his reporter. He's her camera guy. That's their relationship
Yeah.
in a nutshell. I'm just
And the
gonna
new boss is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, the new boss is kind of a dick. And he comes in and he's like, hey, I got this great idea for a story. Like, let's talk about foreclosed homes. And I got this in with a guy who cleans them out. Like, we're going to go on a couple of walkthroughs through these abandoned houses. And as they're going through abandoned houses, they discover one house that is literally abandoned. Like, not, it was foreclosed and they were forced out. Like,
It was just like, oh, you know what? Rent's due. Bye. That kind of.
yeah, it looks like everybody got up in the middle of what they were doing and just pieced out. Like, lights are still on, the answering machine is blinking with tons of messages of people going, I don't know where you are. Like, did you guys go on vacation? Where are you? Where are you? So they get intrigued by that and they want to delve into that story further. And in doing so, they discover family videotapes and find Slenderman. Like, by accident, just investigative journalism gone terribly wrong.
Yeah. And I think at that point, what do you think? We should give a quick little verdict and then move into spoiler territory?
I think so.
I would say this was hard for me. I think I liked the cinematography and the acting better in Always Watching. I liked the ending better in Slender. But as an overarching movie to recommend, I'd say watch Always Watching. If you like it, then watch Slender. Because it's an easier movie to watch. And that's kind of important when you're trying to entertain yourself for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Slender is a much more digestible film as far as 90 minutes, like, let's get on with it. Now, that said, I feel for me, like, pacing overall and making sense from start to finish, I gotta go with Always Watching.
yeah, no, there's no argument there. I said I just liked the ending better in Slender.
Yeah.
But
wasn't
not the everything else.
I wasn't a particular fan of the ending of either, but I made a decision a long time ago where it was just, you know what? Like, I'm a horror movie fan, and as a fan of horror movies, I'm not going to judge a movie by its ending
Because you
unless
can't,
it's
yeah,
so horrific.
yeah, hashtag horror.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so moving on in spoiler territory. Hi guys, you're in spoiler land now
This
if you're
is
still watching.
spoiler land.
I liked the two different Slender interpretations a lot. I enjoyed that they weren't the same. In Always Watching, it's a guy in the background. It's just they got a creepy tall guy to wear a long suit with a faceless mask, and he was everywhere.
He was everywhere, like literally everywhere.
And in Slender, you never saw him. At one point, you see a guy get pulled off screen, and that's it.
Actually, I did. Okay, so I went back because I was like, really? Did they not show him at all?
Well, they showed a shadow at one point.
They showed a shadow at one point, but at the very end, and this is total spoiler territory, at the very end, when you have the guy sitting there talking into the camera,
Oh, there was a reflection?
in his glasses, there was a
Oh,
Slenderman
okay.
reflection.
Okay. But also in their version, he's got two arms and tentacles. Like, so that was, at least a little reinterpretation. And it was fun, because they, as part of the movie plot, they had to design their own Slenderman costume for part of the documentary. But I liked, again, I liked the idea of, hey, we want to do a doc, we're not really sure what on. I'm going to enlist my sister and her boyfriend and just hire some other random guy.
Yeah, some
and
random sound guy.
yeah. And I liked them working out the ethics of the documentary, I think, at some points more than the plot. Because, again, it was convoluted, and there is a 10-minute completely wasted. In a bar, it's literally just adding time so they can say that they're a full movie length runtime. That's the only reason I can say it's in there because it was a waste of time otherwise.
I mean, as the movie as a whole, does it kind of set the tone that director guy is kind of a douche?
Ish.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, but you you could have done that with any of the other scenes anyway.
I was gonna say, if you chopped it off, you'd still be at the end of that movie going, "You're a dick."
Yeah, and again, and the way in this one, Slender Man makes people disappear. He takes them.
Yeah.
In Always Watching, you accept him into your mind and do his bidding, which is kind of interesting. I did like, yeah, much more cohesive in Always Watching as a story, and more cohesive horror. And I think I liked the horror of that better because it was that creeping dread, like you said. Dude
Yeah.
is everywhere.
Dude is everywhere. Like, having watched that a second time, I didn't even realize the first time how
Mhm.
many scenes that
Shadows,
dude is
backgrounds.
in.
Yep.
Almost any reflective surface. Like,
Mhm.
that was the one that really got me that I missed, because they're still building up
Mhm.
to even, like, pulling the curtain off and going, yeah, this is a Slenderman movie. Like, you haven't even
Yep.
got to that point yet.
And he's there.
And he's
Yep.
there, and they're going into the news studio, and the door closes, and he's in a reflection in the fucking
Yeah.
door.
I
Like,
caught that, and I was just kind of like, huh, this movie ain't fucking around.
yeah,
I like it. So yeah, that one built a much better sense of horror, building horror, and it also rewards people for noticing. Whereas in Always Watching, they kind of saved everything. This was the smaller budget, or I'm not
you
Always
mean,
Watching. Sorry,
yeah,
it's
it's
Slender.
Slender. Yeah,
Slender was the smaller budget. You can tell because they had to save all of the good stuff for the ending. The
yeah,
only thing I liked that they did with that was instead of showing him, you knew he was around because every time someone said him, it was static.
yeah.
So that was kind of cool, Oh, this slender thing, and instead of him saying this slender thing, it was this, and then he
Yeah,
goes
like
right back to
the camera
talking.
would, like, pixelate a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
so that was kind of a cool way to be like, yeah, there's something creepy going on here, but we can't afford to show you anything. So again, yeah, I
We
didn't
put
hate
a
one.
guy on stilts and put him in a bodysuit. What do you want?
I didn't hate one. I didn't love one. So I think I will recommend Always Watching. I think the battle, I'd say Always Watching came out as the better movie of the two, but it still could have been handled. I didn't like the ending that much. It was just kind of like it was what you expected to see,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
mean, it was totally expected. I think for me, where it wins is, as somebody who's observant,
Observant. I
observant. I'm
noticed.
totally observant, just like SpongeBob, super observant. Um, anyway, for
Goodbye.
somebody like me who pays attention and is looking for things, whether it's errors or just extra content, like Easter eggs, whatever have you. Always Watching was a big payoff for somebody like me. Like, if
Yeah,
you are observant, like I said, even just watching it a second time, it was like, oh shit, like I picked up extra
yeah,
things.
and that's when I did my best to notice on the first go around, but there were times definitely where you're like, oh, this like you want to notice this. Like when he gets up and walks in front of the projector that he's got in the living room, and there's the guy standing there on the projection on the guy's stomach, like there's Slender Man.
Yeah.
Like, but even as an audience goer, you could have missed that. You could
Yeah,
have been
you could have
just looking
easily
over there. You
missed
could
it.
have been looking at the dog. You could have just, but if you were honed in on that one section for that 1 second,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh. But for me, that's where it really kind of got in my head. Now, like, I should put out there, like, I'm super big fan of the Slender games. I'm super big fan of, like, the Slenderman mythos that has been built or on the internet. Like, I love
yep,
it. Um, so for me, it was like, oh, damn. And then I'm constantly looking for him. So I almost feel like more immersed in the film experience, because it's like there's a scene they're driving a car past like a hayfield. And I keep waiting, like I'm looking, I'm like checking like every grain as we're going by in the car, waiting to see him. And you don't see him in the grain field. Another car passes by and you see him in the reflection of the window of the car
Yeah.
that's going by. Like, it's such, like, just
Yeah.
minor
And I
little,
think that's why they called it Always Watching, because
yeah.
you could probably go back and honestly, maybe we should see if anyone's done that. There might be a chance you could go by and in every single scene he's somewhere from start to finish of
He's
that film. I wouldn't be
he's
surprised.
just in
Yeah.
there.
And not every second, but every scene, every
Yeah.
separate scene. I wouldn't be surprised if from start to finish of that film that he's somewhere. But yeah, I think we agree though. Always Watching beats Slender, but they both have some good stuff and they both have some meh going on. So
Yeah, I mean, I give Slender credit for a low budge. Like, it does have that kind of Blair Witchy feel, especially with the way things built up for the ending.
yeah, but could we just be done with that for a few years, guys? Like this is just me asking, as a horror fan, asking those of you who put your heart and soul into horrors, and I love you and I appreciate you. We do have digital cameras. You don't have to do handheld anymore. You can do a really well cut, well shot, professional looking movie. You don't have to go to the Steadicam route. Just take 5 years off, guys.
Put the handy cams down. Get your GoPros out.
Not what I meant. And on that note, I'm done speaking.
Yeah. On that note, I've chased Pappy off for 2 whole weeks, so we will be back week after next, and we'll see you here on Box Office Brawl. As always, if you have some suggestions on things you want to go head-to-head, leave them in that comment section down below. Like, we're pretty much at the point where suggestions are totally welcome here. Not that we're running out of stuff, but if there's something where you're like, man, come on, you guys should totally talk about that, you gotta let us know.
Or we'll just start pulling those terrible direct-to-DVD films that come out to take advantage of good big budgets. So,
Oh yeah, we
don't make
could do
us,
like
don't make
Ghost
us.
Shark versus Avalanche Shark or some
No,
horrible.
I'm just saying, like, don't make us compare like Sherlock Holmes, the actual blockbuster film, with the Sherlock Holmes that's got the fucking dinosaur and the ghost on the cover. All right, don't make us.
Don't make us stoop to that level, please. Please, we're at your mercy. Bye, everybody.